This is Nate the Hate, and we're going to talk about how Nintendo has struck down the Pokemon leakers and how I am okay with it. So today, YouTubers, some Twitter accounts, woke up to a kind of disturbing email where they found out that their videos on the recent Pokemon Sword and Shield leaks had been struck, or they were issued with a takedown notice of some kind, and some went to Twitter saying, oh, this isn't fair. Others warned other creators to either unlist or make their videos private. And I don't understand why they are surprised by this. When you play with fire, you get burnt. And when you play with the Pokemon Company, you better bring a revive because they are going to one-hit KO you every single time. This isn't new for the Pokemon Company or Nintendo. If you violate their rules, they are going to enforce their legal right to strike your YouTube video or to issue a takedown notice on a website or a Twitter account. And with Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's believed that either a reviewer has violated their embargo or that the copy of a game was stolen from a warehouse, which is obviously illegal. So a lot of YouTubers went to their channel, they made videos showing you the character models, showing you the final evolutions, showing you the complete Pokedex. And that is a big problem. The Pokemon Company is not going to accept that. They are going to find your channel, they are going to strike your video, and they are going to forcefully remove that content. Now, if you just talked about the content, you said, hey, Pokemon AB's final evolution is CD, and, you know, in my description would be, it looks like a lamp. Okay. The Pokemon Company wouldn't have done anything. You're not showing any content. You are giving a description, you're talking about the content, and talking about the leaks, at least in a fair sense, without getting too descriptive and without being too, on the nose where you are pointing people to find the leaks. Would have been, alright, they would have flown under the radar, they would have been accepted by the Pokemon Company and Nintendo because you aren't actually showing the content. You are not showing stolen or illegally obtained information. And we saw a lot of YouTubers just say, well, forget that. I'm going to show you the full character models. I'm going to show you everything because, hey, that's what's going to bring in the hits. That's what's going to bring in the traffic. That's going to bring in the Pokemon fans who want to hate on the game and those who just are curious to see what the starting 3 final evolutions would be. So I fully support the Pokemon Company and Nintendo in this move because leaks are dangerous. Leaks set a certain expectation where people kind of think a game's going to be something that it's not because maybe a leak doesn't have all of the information. Leaks also damage and rob the creators of the message that they're hoping to deliver to fans over a period of time. And with Pokemon Sword and Shield, this actually happened. Game Freak were looking to surprise people with content in the game, and the leaks took all that away. It robbed the creators, and it even robbed the players of discovering some of these secrets, all because somebody had to steal the game or violate their embargo with a review copy and say, hey, this is what the game has to offer. Now, luckily, a lot of people were able to avoid the leaks because it spread fairly fast, but responsible YouTube channels either did not report the news, or if they did report it, they said, hey, leaks are happening. Be on the lookout. Maybe you want to block these words on Twitter so you don't accidentally stumble upon some of the leaked content and spoil yourself. And, that's good. That's good content. I applaud the channels who did that. What is disturbing is that a lot of people don't even think of the repercussions that this leak will have, not only on Pokemon Sword and Shield, but the industry as a whole moving forward. Now, what happens is when a game like Pokemon Sword and Shield leaks, the next game is going to be treated differently. So if there is a Pokemon game next year, what's going to happen is the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, and Nintendo are going to say, well, last time we tried to surprise people with content and we didn't disclose everything ahead of time. But you know what? If people are going to get the game maybe a day or a week early and they're just going to spoil it anyways, why hold back? And we kind of saw the Pokemon Company and Game Freak do this with Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. They revealed everything those games had to offer, and then people complained, oh, where are the surprises? Well, there's no surprises because people keep leaking everything ahead of release anyways, so they rather control the conversation flow of information on their own, and they'll just say, hey, with the next Pokemon games coming to the Switch, we're just going to tell you everything that's in them, no surprise. That way you can't accuse us of misleading you, because that's been an allegation going around today where people said, well, we didn't know what Pokemon were going to be in the game because Game Freak didn't tell us. Well, that was part of the surprise. They wanted you to explore and see which creatures were going to be in the game. But no, instead it was they tried to mislead us. And if people paid attention, they would have remembered that months ago, Game Freak said not every Pokemon is going to be in Sword and Shield. And then the leaks happened and people said, oh my god, I can't believe every Pokemon isn't in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Okay, if you paid attention, you would have already known that, quite a while ago. So all this is going to lead to is Game Freak, Nintendo, and the Pokemon Company are going to have to alter their messaging for the next Pokemon game, which will lead to less surprises, and it's also going to impact the way coverage is handled. When a leak like this happens, it means there's going to be less advanced coverage, whether it's in preview form or review coverage, because now they're going to be even more protective of their property. So when it comes time to send out a review copy for the next Pokemon game, they're going to say, well, you know what? We're going to wait until launch day to give you that review code, because we don't trust anybody right now. And this has happened in the past. They hand out very limited amount of review code ahead of time, and they only give it to big outlets that they know they can trust, because usually these bigger websites have their own legal teams. The reviewers there are responsible, they are professional, they're not going to jeopardize their career to say, hey, I have to leak that Charizard becomes a Super Saiyan Charizard because I want a little bit of internet clout. So moving forward, that's probably what we're going to see with the Pokemon games. We're going to see a more restrictive sense of security. We're going to see limited coverage. And we're going to see a lot of changes in the way Game Freak moves forward. Now, does this absolve Game Freak of everything they have done with the game in its lead up to release? No. Should they have been more communicative with the base and given us a better idea of which regions were going to have representation in Sword and Shield, at least percentage-wise, of the Pokemon? Yes, they could have been a lot more forthcoming with what the game was going to have, but that does not justify leaking everything in advance and breaking the law and ruining the game for a sizable portion of the Pokemon community. All that is I want internet fame. I'm doing this for myself. And then when you see content creators and Twitter channels and even websites reporting it all, showing it all, they're not doing that because they think they're doing a favor to the base. They're doing that for views, clicks, and money. And that's not fair. Be responsible, do better, do right by your community. Respect them, and they'll respect you. So respect the creators at Game Freak, Nintendo, and the Pokemon Company. Respect their vision for the game. Respect their marketing plans, because the marketing plans are months in creation. They're not just thrown together at a whim. They plan everything out, where they say, okay, on November 5th, we're going to announce this for the game, because we know it's 10 days from launch. But instead, someone will come out on November 4th and spoil everything, and the marketing team is left saying, well, that's a waste of months of planning and millions of dollars of investment because somebody decided to steal the game or violate embargo and ruin the plans we had. So it's really disappointing to see leaks like this happen, especially this close to launch. And it makes me sad to see that the state of the industry is really in a place where people would rather have things spoiled for them than get surprised by the content that's within a game. We used to thrive on being surprised by the games we were playing because we didn't know everything that were in them. Even as recent as 10 years ago, you'd buy the game at launch, or maybe a week after you would play the game, be like, wow, look at that twist. It was so surprising. But now it's the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week news cycle where websites, YouTube, Twitter, they all have to report on everything that's happening all the time. And it just takes away that sense of magic and imagination that games used to deliver to the base. And I have luckily been able to avoid most of the leaks for Pokemon Sword and Shield, because this is the first Pokemon game I am genuinely excited about in probably a decade. And with that, Nate the Hate is signing off and reminding you that writing is thinking on paper. If you enjoyed this video, give the video a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment in the section below, and I will respond to your thoughts on the Pokemon leak situation.